Prince Harry has denied allegations he gave his uncle, Prince Andrew, a bloody nose during an argument in which punches were thrown.
The Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has followed a strikingly steady course. Years after exiting royal life, the Sussexes continue to dominate most disliked celebrities lists.
Prince Harry's signature was barely dry on the custody agreement when explosive accusations tore through Windsor's walls. Sources confirm Harry has made disturbing claims involving Meghan Markle and Prince Andrew, claims so severe they threaten to unravel the fragile peace established just days ago. The sealed documents were meant to protect Archie and Lilibet, but what Harry allegedly discovered has left the royal family reeling. Behind closed palace doors, emergency meetings were called at midnight, legal teams scrambled, phone lines went silent. What could push a father to shatter a deal designed to shield his own children? The answer involves secrets, betrayal, and allegations that cross every line. Stay with us as we expose the truth behind Harry's shocking accusations. Are Andrew's shadow over everything? The BBC interview still haunts people. November 2019.
The latest revelations from the Epstein files raised some serious questions about the reliability of what the then Prince Andrew said in a BBC Newsnight interview in 2019.
Prince Andrew sat across from Emily Maitlis, trying to explain his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. He talked about a Pizza Express in Woking, about not being able to sweat, about being too honorable to ghost people. The world watched and didn't believe a single word. Virginia Giuffre had accused him of when she was 17. Photos showed Andrew with his arm around her waist. Epstein's private island. Ghislaine Maxwellis standing right there in the picture. Andrew denied everything, said he couldn't remember meeting her. But then, in February 2022, he paid her millions to settle out of court. No trial, no public testimony, just money and silence. Harry watched all of this happen. His uncle, his grandmother's favorite son, and according to some palace insiders, and here's where it gets personal for Harry. In his memoir, Spare, published in January 2023,
this morning, it's a day. Prince Harry's new memoir is officially Spare is a, look at that line, Spare is a blistering indictment of the royal family.
Harry wrote something that made the palace nervous. He said Andrew was embroiled in a shameful scandal, accused of a young girl. But then Harry made the comparison that changed everything. He pointed out that despite all this, Andrew still had his security, taxpayer-funded protection, while Harry, who served 2 tours in Afghanistan, had his security stripped away. That line in the book wasn't just about security, it was about fairness, about how the royal family protects its own even when they've done terrible things, while pushing out the ones who just wanted to live differently. But the Andrew connection to Meghan? That came from somewhere unexpected. December 2024, the U.S. Department of Justice released another batch of Epstein files. The article was about a prank call. Russian pranksters pretending to be Greta Thunberg. They got Harry on the phone in 2020, and he talked about Andrew. He said, "Whatever he has done or hasn't done is completely separate from my wife and me." That email, that single reference, it connected 3 royals to the biggest scandal of the century. The palace went into crisis mode. Not because anything illegal happened, but because in the court of public opinion, being mentioned in the same document as Epstein means something. PR teams worked overtime. Lawyers sent letters. But the damage was done. When the new Epstein documents were released in early 2026, Harry saw something that made him sick. Photos of Andrew with young women. And there, in the middle of all of it, 2 are mentions of royal family members who attended Epstein's parties. Princess Beatrice and Eugenie weren't accused of anything. but their father's mess had splashed onto them. Harry cares about Beatrice and Eugenie. So when Harry learned they were being dragged into this, sources say he made a call to Meghan. "We need to say something," he told her. But Meghan's response shocked him. "Stay out of it. The royal family is in crisis. Don't make it about us." That disagreement, that moment, it revealed something Harry hadn't fully understood until then. Meghan's priority was protecting their brand, their California life, their Netflix deals, while Harry still felt responsible for family members who were hurting. The custody law, nobody talks about the something most people don't know. Technically, King Charles has legal custody of Archie and Lilibet. Not Harry, not Meghan. Their grandfather, whom they've met exactly once. This isn't some conspiracy theory. It's a real law from 1717. King George I hated his son, the future King George II. So he got judges to rule that the monarch has custody of all royal grandchildren. The law was passed. It was reinforced in 1772. And it's never been changed. Royal expert Marlene Koenig explained it clearly.
Who is heir to the throne. To talk about the book and more, joined by an expert in British royalty and an old friend, Marlene Koenig.
The sovereign has legal custody of the minor grandchildren. This goes back to King George I, and the law's never been changed. When Queen Elizabeth was alive, she technically had custody of George, Charlotte, Louis, Archie, and Lilibet. Now that Charles is king, custody transferred to him. What does custody mean here? It means the monarch can make decisions about education, travel, and upbringing. Back in the 1990s, Prince Charles had to ask Queen Elizabeth for permission to take William and Harry on a trip to Scotland. She said yes. But when Princess Diana wanted to take the boys to Australia right before she died,
we have reports from Paris that Diana, Princess of Wales, has been killed in a car accident.
the Queen said no. That trip never happened. This is why custody wasn't mentioned in Charles and Diana's divorce papers, or in Andrew and Sarah Ferguson's divorce. The parents never had legal custody to begin with, so there was nothing to negotiate. Now here's where it gets complicated for Harry and Meghan. Some royal experts believe this law only applies to grandchildren, not great-grandchildren. Since Archie and Lilibet are Charles's grandchildren, it might apply. But since they were Queen Elizabeth's great-grandchildren, maybe it didn't. Legal experts disagree. There's no clear answer. In October 2024, our Daily Mail columnist suggested that Meghan might be worried about this law. That maybe this is why she's been reluctant to bring Archie and Lilibet to the UK. Maybe she's aware of King George I's 1717 edict, he wrote. Whether it is still enforceable would keep the lawyers busy for a while. But Meg might think it's better to be safe than sorry. Harry has said he wants to bring his children to the UK. In September 2024, he told The Guardian that he was considering it, especially after a positive reunion with Charles. But Meghan reportedly has concerns. Not just about security, about control, about whether, once those children set foot in the UK, someone could try to enforce an ancient law that says they belong to the Crown. The custody deal that was supposedly signed in early 2026? Sources say it was an informal agreement between Harry and Meghan about how they would handle public appearances with the children. How much exposure? Which events? Nothing legal, nothing binding, just a couple trying to protect their kids while building separate careers. But Harry allegedly felt blindsided when he learned Meghan had been having conversations with lawyers about keeping the children out of the UK permanently. Not just for safety, but to avoid any possibility of that custody law being invoked. Professional separation. When couples work apart. If you've been watching Harry and Meghan lately, you've noticed something. They're seldom together anymore, at least not professionally. Late 2024 marked a shift. Meghan started pursuing her own ventures aggressively. She relaunched her Instagram in January 2025 as a solo account. See over 650,000 followers in days. She attended Paris Fashion Week alone, sitting front row at Balenciaga. She started promoting her Netflix show With Love, Meghan, and her lifestyle brand as ever, without Harry in sight. Harry, meanwhile, focused on his Invictus Games, his veteran work, his legal battles against British tabloids. In November 2024, he made a surprise appearance at the Grey Cup in Canada. Alone. He attended court hearings in London, alone. He gave speeches and interviews. Alone. PR experts started calling it a professional separation, not a divorce, not even relationship trouble necessarily. Just two people building separate brands. A source told Us Weekly in October 2025, it's healthy for them as a couple to have separate spheres, identities, and passion projects. The intense press attention Meghan attracts hasn't been helpful for Harry's work. Another insider said they've been planning this for 9 months. Harry sought advice from old friends in the UK, people who told him he needed to stop being just Meghan's husband in Hollywood, that he needed his own identity again. By May 2025, the separation became structural. They hired separate chiefs of staff. Miranda Barbot, who helped re-elect Barack Obama, works only for Harry. Sarah Fosmo, a former aide to Bill Gates, works only for Meghan. They have 11 staff members split between Montecito and the UK offices. Meghan admitted on her podcast that building a solo brand felt incredibly lonely. She talked about the challenges of being a mother while running a business, about making decisions alone, and about missing the partnership approach they used to have. But sources close to Harry say he's relieved. Harry's not really doing anything in America, a Page 6 insider revealed. It seems he's still very wrapped up in the past. His speaking engagements aren't selling out. His polo documentary on Netflix got mixed reviews. Meanwhile, Meghan's show premiered to decent numbers, and her jam sold out in hours.
Mindy Kaling is setting the record straight about her cameo on Meghan Markle's Netflix show.
The couple did appear together at the Invictus Games in February 2025. Smiling, holding hands, playing the united front, but afterward, they went back to their separate schedules, separate projects, separate lives, at least during business hours. Friends say the marriage is fine. They're not splitting up. But the fairy tale of being a power couple? That dream died somewhere between leaving the royal family and building a life in California. But what Harry actually accused them of? So what did Harry actually accuse Andrew and Meghan of? This is where the truth gets messy. Harry never accused Andrew of anything the world didn't already know. The Epstein scandal, the settlement with Virginia Giuffre, the disastrous BBC interview where he talked about Pizza Express and not being able to sweat, for keeping Andrew's taxpayer-funded security even after allegations of while stripping Harry's security after he served 2 tours in Afghanistan and had real documented threats against his life. In his June 2023 court testimony, Harry said something that made headlines worldwide. He claimed the royal household directly interfered in the 2020 decision that downgraded his threat level. According to Harry, he went from being classified as the most at-risk royal to the least threatened practically overnight. His exact words in court? He called it a good old-fashioned establishment stitch-up, the kind of insider manipulation he'd witnessed his entire life, but never had proof of until now. That court appearance became historic.
To Prince Harry, back in court battling the tabloids. He's expected to return to the UK next week for a lawsuit against the publishers of the Daily Mail.
Harry was the first senior royal in 130 years to testify in a witness box, and he didn't hold back. Standing outside the courthouse, visibly emotional, Harry told reporters people would be shocked by what's being held back. He looked exhausted, overwhelmed, but also determined to expose what he saw as systemic injustice. But the accusation about Meghan? That's even more complicated and never made it to any courtroom. Harry never publicly accused Meghan of anything wrong. But multiple sources close to the couple say he confronted her privately in late 2025. The issue? Her response when his cousins, Beatrice and Eugenie, got dragged into the Epstein mess through their father's connections. Harry reportedly wanted to speak out publicly in their defense, to say something supportive, to use his platform to shield them from unfair media attacks. Meghan's response, according to these insiders, was ice cold. Stay out of it. The royal family is in crisis. Don't make it about us. She reminded him they had their own children to protect, their own California brand to build. Their own Netflix deals could get complicated if they waded into royal scandals.
That's what one Netflix insider is calling Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's content for the streamer, adding insult to injury.
Harry reportedly felt she was being calculating, more concerned about optics than about people who had actually supported them during Megxit. To be royal, but not important enough. Meghan's view, according to sources who spoke with Page 6 and Us Weekly, was brutally practical. The royal family made their bed. Let them lie in it. Why should she risk her mental health, her brand, her children's privacy to defend a family that never defended her? In her mind, self-preservation wasn't selfish. It was survival. That fundamental difference in approach became the unthinkable thing Harry realized. Not some scandal, not some crime, but a painful truth about who they'd both become. Harry still saw the royals as family, even the ones who hurt him, even Andrew, with all his failures. They were blood. They were history. They were the institution he spent his entire life serving. Meghan saw them as enemies, as people who tried to destroy her mental health. Who let racist attacks happen in tabloids without saying a word? Who cared more about protocol than humanity? She had fully moved on in a way Harry never could, and maybe never would. The security battle that changes everything. Nothing matters more to Harry than keeping his family safe. And the UK government keeps telling him no. When Harry and Meghan stepped back as working royals in 2020,
well, for Harry and Meghan, their choice to step away as senior members of the royal family,
they lost their automatic police protection. Harry offered to pay for it himself. The government said no. He took them to court. He lost in February 2024. He appealed. He lost again in May 2025. During a BBC interview after losing his appeal, Harry was asked what aspects of his current security made him feel unsafe. His answer was simple: everything. He said it would be impossible to bring Meghan and the children to the UK under current conditions. And not just because of threats, but because he doesn't trust the system anymore. In September 2024, a woman reportedly obsessed with Harry got within feet of him twice during a London visit. She entered a secure hotel zone. Days later, she was intercepted at an event where no police were present. This is what keeps Harry up at night. Not just threats, but the feeling is that the same system that protected Andrew is actively working to make him vulnerable. But here's the twist. In December 2025, the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, RAVEC, started reviewing Harry's threat level again. They're gathering new evidence, new assessments. There's talk that he could get some protection back. If that happens, sources say Harry is ready to bring Archie and Lilibet to meet their grandfather, to introduce them properly to the UK side of their heritage. But Meghan, according to insiders, is still reluctant, not convinced, not ready to trust a system that hurt them so badly. So what does this all mean? Harry signed a custody deal with Meghan about their children's public exposure. Days later, new Epstein documents reminded him how the royal family protects its own while sacrificing others. He wanted Meghan to stand up for his cousins. She wanted to focus on their California life. That disagreement revealed a bigger truth. They're building separate lives professionally, maybe even emotionally. A 300-year-old custody law hangs over their children's future security battles rage in UK courts. And Harry remains stuck between two worlds. The royal family he can't fully leave behind. And the American life Meghan has fully embraced. There's no villain here, no smoking gun. Just two people trying to protect their family in completely different ways. And a man realizing that the hardest battles aren't with the royal family. They're with the person sleeping next to him every night.